Welcome back, Sean Cornett here. Going a bit informal today, primarily because I didn't want to wait. We've got a pretty excitable conversation taking place here below the post as to obviously some strong opinions on both sides of the Ambit and Ignite debate. But I realized when I started this post, I primarily was interested in, of course, promoting the significant ways that Ambit has Ignite, I believe, beat and takes things to the next level. But I also realized that it's I really should be, to the best of my knowledge, sharing both sides of the debate, and certainly let you make the final decision if you're taking a look at both companies and which one makes the best fit for you. But there's three areas that I feel that are significant that Ignite does have Ambit beat, and depending on your situation, these may factor into which direction that you go. The first one, quite simply, is their startup fee is, of course, less. It's $300, $299 currently. I believe that's on some type of promotional discount compared to what I think is normally $329. I know they've gone down as low as $199 on promos, but it's been at $300 for a while, and I think that's primarily their price point on startup for to get started with the business. So $300 obviously is significantly less than $429, and that might factor in your decision, but certainly feel like you should also factor in the simple fact that the Ambit compensation plan is quite a bit more lucrative, and primarily just look at one thing, the free energy program. The fact that if you just simply go out and get 15 customers, you're going to get a free energy credit each and every single month. I think that right there is worth $1,000 more startup costs. So, think about that. Obviously compare and contrast it, but they are cheaper to get started with, Ignite is. Number two, Georgia. We don't service Georgia, so if you live in the state of Georgia or near it, and that's one of your primary places you've got contacts and influence in, I couldn't tell you when we're going to go there. I know it's a potential market, but obviously Ignite already has a good foothold there, and so we may go after other states before we come down and tackle Georgia. Obviously, it's not easy to follow a company that's already achieved a good deal of success, as we know in Texas. And I certainly hope that Ignite gets to find out if and when they ever expand to New York, which is a marketplace that we dominate there. So it'll be interesting as we go forth and expand into new states and have the opportunity to work in a similar marketplace with the same startup time frame, and not one or the other having a head start on each other. So that will certainly be interesting. But finally, number three, I guess I have to share is that, and this is significant, I mean, Ignite is still much larger overall. They've been in business longer. They had a 1.5-year head start in the primary state of Texas, which is where really the biggest and best deregulated market in the country, in the world for that matter. And they really secured a good deal of the marketplace before we even opened our doors. And all of the momentum was with Ignite, all of the excitement, all of the the proof and the everything was in Ignite's corner when we opened our doors, and so that made it a very hard environment for us to open up our doors and try and carve out a business with, sort of in the wake of the Ignite phenomenon they had going on. But and so they're still much larger than Ambit in the state of Texas and overall. And I cannot certainly at all take that away from them. But there are some factors regarding that I do think you should take into account, which is a simple fact that growth is all but stopped. In 2008, the revenue was right around $825 million, as reported by Inc. 500, because they were also on the top 500 companies, privately held companies, fastest growing in the country. And I can't remember where exactly they were ranked, about 200, I think, 198. But the bottom line is they are still much larger overall. But so that was 2008, $825 million, and then 2009, as reported by the Direct Selling Association, the revenues are sitting right around $845 million, which 825 to 845 is just over a 2% growth rate from one year to the next. It pretty much means that their hyper growth is behind them, and they're pretty much doing everything they can to keep up with attrition, in my opinion. Of course, I don't have the inside look. I don't know exactly what that slowdown in growth is attributed to, but that would be my guess. Of course, the larger you get, the harder it is for you to grow. But to only grow by 2.4% or whatever it is definitely made things have slowed down. So their growth has stopped, whereas Ambit is really just picking up stride. And of course, we've got Texas, New York, and Illinois to work with, so more territory certainly means more opportunity to keep growth growing. And then when you factor in Maryland and Pennsylvania as well, we certainly have plenty of new territory to make our mark in. So those are some things to think about, and as we look at new states, obviously it is going to be interesting because Ambit has already established a dominant place in New York, really the second largest deregulated opportunity in the states right now. So I don't know if Ignite's going to be going there or to another state, but certainly at some point when Ignite opens up New York, they're going to have to experience what we experienced, which is following another company that's already established dominance in a marketplace. And so once again, finally, number 3, Ignite's just, they're much larger still. Although with our fastest growing company in the country status and their growth significantly slowing up, I don't think it's going to be too long before we catch up very quickly. So that's it. I hope that these 3 reasons have really laid everything out on the table, and to the best of my knowledge are these significant areas that Ignite's got us beat, as compared to, of course, the other regions above that Ambit, I believe, is taking things to the next level. But of course, I'm an independent distributor, and I guess a disclaimer of the nature that these are all my opinions. Although they've all are very factual, black and white, I can back all of them up, except for the one about rates, because I don't have a rate sheet over the past 4 or 5 years for Ignite, and then I don't have that for Ambit either. That's just my experience over the past 4 years that Ambit's rates have been better, and they certainly are right now. We're about, as of the taping of this video, we're about a full cent per kilowatt cheaper, which is really significant in Texas on the 12-month term plan. So I hope you've enjoyed my comparison, and if you have any comments, certainly love to keep the discussion going below. Share your thoughts, positive or negative, and I'd be happy to discuss, and it's certainly an open forum. So I appreciate you watching.